Hello and welcome to another modern stream. Actually, this weekend was pretty good for AmuLIT. Apparently, I think that both the modern MTGO PTQ and the modern challenge were both won by AmuLIT. So the deck is apparently in the correct spot. Who would have thought, huh? Crazy. Anyway, so what we're looking at today, right now, is a list. This is a list. This is the list that PuntThenWhine used to win the Modern Challenge, and we are definitely seeing in classic PuntThenWhine fashion. He just doesn't care. His lists always have something strange, weird, or just um, uncommon, quote unquote, to them. So we're gonna go through this real quick. First of all, we have the classic shell, right? We have our Asusas, our Scout. I know, Punt playing Scout, very rare. Punt the one, for those of you that don't know, is actually the creator of the Lotus Bloom version of the deck, and that's mostly what he plays. But for this event, he chose to go with Scout, and he won. So clearly, it's the superior build. But in the main deck, we have two things. First of all, the flex slots are held by Explore. If you follow my content, you will know that I've always been a proponent of Explore. I think it's always uh, excellent at being medium. It's never horrendous, almost never horrendous. I better say it's almost never horrendous, and it's always like super medium at doing what it does. It just progresses your game plan. And it doesn't cost a card, so I think that it's just a fine card for us to be playing. And then in the mana base is where things get interesting. So first of all, we have no castles, no Castle Garenbrig. I have been a fan of Castle, so I think that the card is actually worth it, and I think that trying to make changes to the mana base to make it fit actually is worth it. I think that the payoff is actually high enough that that I'm okay kind of warping my mana base a little bit in order to make it fit. But what Punt is doing instead is second main the Cavern of Souls. I imagine this proved in great against the Death Shadows, the Ursas, and the control decks of the world. Second Field of the Dead. Funny enough, another card that is excellent in these matchups that I just named. Crumbling Vestige, this is the PuntThenWhine special. He loves this land, and for a good reason. I think that this land is actually great, right? It's kind of like when you have an amulet in play, it's like a pseudo bounce land in that it gives you 2 mana, but it doesn't cost you a land drop. And also, you get a lot of utility from Titans, where you can actually allow your Titan to net you mana even without an amulet in play. So Crumbling Vestige is just like a mana fixer that is also, again, the PuntThenWhine special. Only two Gemstone Mines. Hard disagree with this. I think I mean, everybody knows what I think about Gemstone Mine. I think it's the best line in the deck. But Punt is choosing to go with Grove of the Burning Willows instead. And he was saying in the Facebook group that he's not playing this because of Shadow, like that's just a minor upside, but what he wanted was an untapped green source that taps for another color. So he chose to go with Grove. It could be Botanical Sanctum or something like that, but this is the one that he chose. Again, I think the Gemstone Mine is just better, but that is maybe just something that we differ in. The Cheese stands alone with a 10-month subscription. Thank you so much, Cheese. Really, I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here almost from the beginning. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, and check this out. This list is nostalgic, kind of, right? Yeah, Kelney Garden is back, baby. Oh yeah, Kelney is back. I haven't been missing Kalni Garden that much, honestly, but it really shines in the Advasitron matchup, and it does a ton of work against Shadow, which are two of the best decks in the format right now. So it's nice to have access to Kalni again. Maybe personally, I would go with something like a second Snow-Covered Forest over Kalni. I think that Kalni is okay, but I don't know. I honestly have not been playing it lately, and I have not been missing it either. So it's kind of whatever. Mr. Take Felicia with a 2 double strike trample plant. Yeah, nobody plays in Snare Bridge anymore. I guess that the e-tron lets play with Karn, but besides the point. You're probably not gonna be like killing when your opponent is playing 4/4s and 5/5s. Kalni probably not gonna kill through a Ensnaring Bridge in that context. This list is really ticked out to with Shadow. Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say as soon as we got into the sideboard. Yeah, so now that we have gone through the main deck, I'm going to talk about the sideboard, and this is really when Punt was really expecting a ton of Shadow. So we see 2 Chameleon Colossus in place of the Obstinate Baloth. In the model metagame, I don't think I just really dislike not having an Obstinate Baloth in my sideboard. I think it's extremely important in the Burn matchup, and Burn is always a very popular deck in Magic Online. So I really don't like not playing a Baloth. I like the second Chameleon Colossus even. That's great. Like it's such a good card against Shadow. It's kind of narrow, but I mean it's very narrow. But it's actually super powerful in that specific matchup. So if you really expect to face a lot of Shadow, which again this was kind of like a the way to say it would be like a higher tier event, right? So it's not just a league. Like when I stream here, we're playing just through league. So you see a lot of people. You see a lot of people just like memeing, and like playing like not the best deck all the time. When you play at a larger event like a challenge or like a playoffs like I played a couple of weeks ago, you can expect the players to just bring the best decks, right? Like you're not gonna be facing like mono blue turns, right? Or like blue red restore balance that I've been facing a ton lately for whatever reason. You're not gonna be facing those decks. Like there's probably like if any, they're gonna be like one player in the entire event playing one of those like fun but kind of like meme decks, right? So that is something that you need to take into account. And what I really like that Punt did is he actually kind of teched his list for what he expected to face, and then got, of course, greatly rewarded. um Mainboard is tech for Shadow, 2 field counter Grove. Yeah, so as I was explaining earlier, Grove is just like a card that he chose because he didn't want to play more Gemstone Mines. Like it's Grove is just not good against Death Shadow unless you can guarantee that you're gonna be drawing 2 or 3 copies of the card on every single match. This card is just not worth it against Shadow. I'm that asshat that brings 5-color name to PDQs. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's probably going to be like one player, but you can expect the vast majority of the field to be playing like what I consider to be the best decks. So yeah, so we have a couple of Chameleon Colossus in the sideboard. Couple of these members, nothing too crazy here. Instead of using Disdainful Stroke or some other kind of counter magic, Punt chose to go with a second Pact of Negation, which I find interesting and also like slightly weird. Like for example, I don't love Pact of Negation against the Ursa decks, for example. I think that I'm okay having the one, but like Mystical Dispute or Disdainful Stroke are just so much better than Pact in those matchups. I do like Pact a lot against the Tron decks and stuff. 5 color is the best deck. We get to play 5 mana 6/6 meter. I know. So we can play 6 mana 6/6 meter, then that's more. And Warlock42, thank you so much for that Twitch from sub. Welcome back to the Primetime Stronghold, friend. I appreciate the support. So yeah, so we have a couple of these members, Pact of Negation. Then we have our artifact / enchantment destruction. Punt chose to go with Rex Sage plus Nature's Claim. Personally, I prefer Force of Vigor over Claim. The reason for this is Chalice, right? Eldrazi is probably like the most popular deck right now in Modern, and being able to destroy an Ensnaring Bridge or destroy a Chalice even, it's quite important. And if your opponent has a Chalice for 0, then Nature's Claim becomes immediately blanked. Force of Vigor does help in that regards, of course, obviously, right? We also have Beast Withing. This is very interesting. It's a card that we have not seen in a while, but it's basically you get to like you get an Oko activation. What about the 2 mana naturalize that does other things? You're talking about Return to Nature. Yes, this doesn't work. There we go. Return to Nature's discard. So it's basically not naturalized with upside because it also allows you to exile a card from the graveyard. 2 mana versus 1 mana. Like I think that if you don't like Force of Vigor for whatever reason, then Nature's Claim is the best option. 1 mana versus 2 mana is kind of a big deal, and like the exile is extremely irrelevant for us. Like we are already so good against graveyard decks mostly because of Bojuka Bog, but this list also has Tormod's Crypt. But like Return to Nature costing 2 it's a massive cost, and also Nature's Claim has this extra upside, quote unquote, I guess, that you can claim your own amulet or your own like something, your own explosives or whatever against burn in order to gain some life. So many changes at Final Finish, the list on Moto today, and now changes. Yeah, we're just playing Punt's list because he won the event, So I'm just like trying out what it. There's a lot of things that I don't particularly agree with. Like for example, we're gonna go over one of those right now, which is Raminap. Sorry, we didn't talk about Raminap. Raminap's fine. Beast Within is let's finish this out first. It's great against like the shadow decks and everything, where you can just like straight up kill the death shadow or something. It leaves a 3/3 behind, but of course, we'd rather deal with a 3/3 than a like big trampler. And it also destroys Karn the Great Creator. It destroys Thought-Knot Seers. It destroys Strawlands, not a small feat. So Beast Within is a very flexible answer. It's definitely very expensive though. We very rarely are gonna care about the 3/3, but the 3 mana we actually do care about. Like that's a ton of mana for this effect. But yeah. Melira, I never knew how to pronounce this card. Even when I was playing Pod, I have no idea how to pronounce this card names. Um, Basically one Yuzoko. Yeah, exactly, Han. That's exactly what it is. Except it can also hit lands, which is great. So Melira is basically against Infect, right? Like it's literally the only thing that it does. It's a 2 mana Infect hate card, and again, Punt said that he expected Infect, and he actually beat Infect in the semis because he was playing Melira in the sideboard. So again, a narrow sideboard card, but a choice that was very conscious, and it was targeting a specific expected metagame. And I cannot stress how important this is. Like building your deck to face to beat the metagame that you expect is very important, right? Like we also saw this with Sam Birkenbei's list when he top-aided the Invitational, right? Like he was expecting a ton of Ursa. He played a lot of Ursa head. He played against Ursa like 4 times and beat it every time, right? So we see the same thing. Um, we have Chameleon Colossus and Meliras in the sideboard. Very narrow sideboard cards, but then, Punt got paired against Shadow, and then he got paired against Infect in the semis and beat them because of these very narrow sideboard cards. So what you want your sideboard cards is, if you're not going to go with general sideboard cards, like a little bit wider application sideboard cards, the best thing you can try to do is go with super narrow cards that are going to be extremely good at getting the job done against the matchups that they're good against. If we say not cheesy chat pool, yeah, I mean, if you continue talking, it's gonna be tough. People are so hard if that I want to play Malaria 7. I mean, you can. I mean, this is what Punt did, right? So second explosives, not much to say about this. This is great, love it. Second explosives, it's a must. At least 2 explosives in the 75, I think it's a must. Basically, in literally every single metagame. Tormod's Crypt, additional hate for Dredge and stuff like that. Again, super narrow cyber card, but extremely impactful. Don't mess around with Relic and that kind of things. Those are not going to get the job done. If you want to beat Storm and Dredge and stuff, Tormod's Crypt is the best thing you can do, bar none. So if you want to dedicate one sideboard card to Graveyard Hate, go with Tormod's Crypt. I don't like Relic or anything like that. Walking Ballista is interesting. I have not been in favor of Walking Ballista for a while. I think that the matchups where Ballista shined are just basically non-existent. Again, Punt got paired against Infect, so he got rewarded by. He probably got rewarded by the inclusion of Ballista, but I don't think that Ballista is in a good spot right now when the main threats in the formats are 1/4s, Okos, Thought-Knot Seers and Reality Smashers, and big dudes like Death Shadows and Gurmagangler. So when those are the threats that you're facing, Ballista doesn't really do anything at all. This is the card that you want against your spirits, your humans, and that kind of stuff, and your infect players, of course. But not, I don't think, I don't like this card in the current metagame. And then in the sideboard, we actually have Ghost Scooter and Bojuki Bug. I don't know if you noticed, but we don't have any of these cards in the main deck. This is kind of like a PuntThenWhine's special, actually. This is something that he always does when he's playing the Lotus Bloom version. So it doesn't really surprise me that he's going with these cards in the sideboard. Like I do, he puts a really high premium on being able to cast his spells, which I do appreciate, and I try to always do the same thing. I think that people are very, very greedy when they play AmuLIT, so Punt definitely tries to go with a lot of main deck, like green and green and like blue/red sources, which I do like. But yep, this is the list that we're gonna be playing today, and let's fire up that league. Modern League, AmuLIT Punt. Yes. All right, let's go. The deck tech did not go for that long, right? 15 minutes. PB Acevedo, thank you so much for that subscription. Welcome to the Primetime Stronghold, my friend. Thank you for that Twitch Prime subscription, and enjoy your emotes. And yep, thank you so much. Hey, Magus with the raid. How is it going? We're basically just beginning. We're gonna be playing the list that PuntThenWhine used to win this weekend's Modern Challenge. It's definitely an unconventional list, but that is kind of PuntThenWhine's signature at this point. Yeah, he's choosing to go with no with no castles. Happy Halloween and Merry New Year. Happy Halloween indeed. It was like 2 months ago, right? But I mean, it's never late enough to celebrate Halloween. I'm into it. I'm into it. But yeah, thank you for the raid, Magus. Welcome everybody for Magus from Magus's stream. We're just like for whatever reason waiting for a minute and a half before we find our first modern match, which is interesting. Time zones work differently here. Oh, so you're telling me that where you are, it's like it's 2 months late, right? Miss most of the deck tech. What do you think of Vestige? I think Vestige is a fine addition. It's a fine addition. Personally, I'm a big fan of the instant speed sources, but that is because I like first of all, I have a very open love affair with the card Gemstone Mine, and second of all, because I when I build my cyborgs, I usually play some amount of counter magic, and I want to make sure that I can maximize the amount of sources that I have for my counters in post cyborg games. Perfectly fine heap. We're gonna keep it. Grove for the shadow matchup? No, the Grove is just because it's an untapped green source. It has the very random situation that you might be able to like snipe a shadow with this, but it's very rare. Like it's not even worth considering. Oh, my opponent says hello, big fan. Always watching you. Oh, thank you so much. Streaming right now. I got my trusty mate here, so I'm gonna mute every now and then while I drink. LOL. I guess that my opponent being a fan, it's kind of ironic, huh? All right. Well played. Well played. Well played. No, I don't think they're ghosting, but like they knew I was an AmuLIT, so they knew that they needed to mull to Arbiter, and it worked out for them, obviously. Still, our hand is pretty good. Our hand is very good, so we're probably fine. Big fan, aka ghosting and sniping. Nah, it's fine. I don't really care about ghosts. Like if somebody is watching my stream, I'm okay with that. All right, so we get GQ. Fortunately, we have. Oh yeah, that's like an amazing draw. Love that. That's such a great draw for us. Another bounce line is exactly what the doctor ordered. So here I'm basically going to wait to see what my opponent does here. I might try to Azusa next turn, depending on what they do here. Like if my opponent doesn't play a Ghost Quarter or something like that, they play Eldrazi Temple, so that's fine, yeah. So I'm going to flash in a bounce instead. Second Arbiter? Okay, that's kind of brutal, actually. Second Arbiter is kind of insane. That's a great draw, though. Alright, so I know that my opponent's playing... Yeah, so what I'm going to do... Check it out. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to play AmuLIT. Then I'm going to play Bounce. Because I know that my opponent is playing Thought-Knot Seers, right? Because they are playing Eldrazi Temple. So it stands to reason that they're playing Thought-Knot Seers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that. I'm going to use the bounce land to get my Azusa. And now we're going to be holding up Sanctuary. So we can play around Ghost Quarter and stuff. We actually take this. We can Titan next turn. Even if they have Ghost Quarter and stuff, it doesn't matter. Like we can just Titan. So they have 4 mana. Bounce. Bounce. Play. And bounce. Pay for this guy. Pay for the other guy. Pact. Primeval Titan. Nice Arbiter SOP. Boros Garrison. Slayer's Stronghold. We gotta make sure that we are playing where we're getting green sources here. Opponent concedes. Easy. Arbiter without pressure. Not gonna cut it. Arbiter without pressure. Not gonna cut it. They technically win that. Yeah, but they couldn't win, so it's basically the same thing, right? So we're gonna bring in these members. Obviously, we're gonna bring in explosives. We're gonna bring in Sage ramming up, and maybe Beast Within. I'm not sure. I love the Walking Ballista. My opponent's probably playing Eldrazi Displacer, and Walking Ballista is very, very bad against Displacer. Kalni's fine. These are fine. Actually, all my lands are fine here. Yeah, my lands are great. Let's leave that as is. They were not dead, but they were. It was impossible for them to win that game. So like, my opponent just chose to take the fastest way out. We would have been playing that game for maybe like 3 more minutes or something like that, and they are just. But they can't win anymore. Did I update the subs? I did. Sweet. Okay, cool. Okay, so we got this going on. Explorer is excellent in this matchup. Summoner's Pact is not. I really miss. This is the kind of matchup where I really missed Alternate Bailoff. Like it's such. That's what I like about the card is like it's great when it's great, but it also has like random utility in matchups that you're like, oh yeah, Bailoff would actually be insane here, and this is definitely one of these matchups. We can shave one steerings, and I'm probably gonna shave one Once Upon a Time. I guess my opponent's playing Chalice. Yeah, so I kind of do like the base within actually. So let's bring that in. So yeah, I'm gonna shave some 1-drops against the Chalice deck. I think. Yeah, let's just shave it like a bunch of steerings. That's fine. Yes, please. And we're snipping this off. Sneep these off. Keep and I'll put most to 6. So we're gonna once upon first. We're gonna see what we find. Green source would be nice. Okay, so I guess we're gonna Azusa here. We kind of need a green source though. I think we're gonna Azusa though. Like Azusa is too important. So we're gonna name human and we're gonna play AmuLIT. Abrade my artifact. Sounds good. Yeah, right. That is kind of annoying, but it's fine. Arbiter. No go squatter. Yeah, that one is actually annoying. That one was actually pretty brutal. All right, that's a solid draw. We still need a green source here though. Definitely still are in need of a green source. My opponent's draw this time around is actually quite good. Yeah, no blocks. Thought not? What is this? Oh, Chalice. Oh, Winds of Abandon? I guess that's pretty good. With the Arbiter in play. It's like a 2-mana path. I chose to go with the field over the Garrison. Maybe I should have played the Garrison so I can reset Cavern and play Azusa. We're getting Thought Knot anyway. Some Azusa's probably gonna be leaving very soon here. But yeah, but you see, this time around, my opponent's draw was significantly better. Explorer is probably gonna do a ton of work if I manage to find the green source, though. This is the kind of matchup where Explorer really shines. Yeah, so Azusa's gone. So I need to find the green source here. Wow, my opponent's draw has been insane both times. So at this point, I can't play around Arbiter anymore, so resetting the Gemstone Mine seems worth it, especially in a turn where I'm not going to be using my mana. They have a 2-turn clock though, so I think this is going to be enough to just beat me here. Triple Arbiter. I mean, that's pretty good. So one Azusa and one... Oof, this is actually a tough one. I could even see myself naming Naga because of Raminab, because Raminab would probably be my best draw. So Azusa at this point doesn't really do anything, so I think I'm just gonna name Giant. And then leave myself the out of... just... actually, I'm gonna see if my opponent cycles. And I'm going to actually blow this up right now. Because I don't want to get got if my opponent draws a Ghost Squatter. Because if they draw a Ghost Squatter, they can play it, and then I'm going to be forced to crack the Explosives anyway, because otherwise I'm facing lethal. So by doing it like so, I don't get blown out by a Ghost Squatter. I mean, we're still missing a green source here. All this time, if we had found a green source, maybe I should have taken the Basic Forest, like with my hand. But it was literally the only green source that we had in all this time, so... It was literally the only green source that we saw in all these turns, so I would have probably... If I had found a forest, how this game had played out. Probably the same way, actually. Alright, my opponent's draw was just stellar. That's definitely on the higher end of draws they can have against us. just gonna run it back. If I had found the basic forest instead of the Azusa, I think we might have been in a much better spot actually, because my opponent was not so high on the land disruption side of things. This hand is great, by the way. They were much higher on the other aspects. Prime time is great. Scout, go. So unless they have an answer to this scout right now. Oh, sorry. Forgot to mute myself. My bad there. If I don't find an answer to this scout, like, now, they're gonna get turn 3 tightened. So... This is Chalice? Yeah, Chalice is actually kind of annoying. It's still fine, but it is a little bit annoying. The good thing is that they didn't play a temple and they actually used the spirit guide to play the chalice. So that means that they're not as likely to thought not me before I get to play my Titan. And of course, if the Titan resolves, that's great for us. So first we're gonna take the damage and everything. See what my opponent does here. No arbiter. Wow, my opponent just had the arbiter every single time. Okay, so if I draw an... Ugh, bomb it. Okay, so I'm going to flash in the growth chamber. My opponent can go squatter it, but if they go squatter it, that means that I get to Titan. So actually, I want my opponent to go squatter me here. And maybe they are kind of incentivized because because I'm tapped out of Scout. Nice. So we first do that. Yes, find the basic. And then we're going to play land. And here, if my opponent has the path or something like that, we kind of get got, but like we're super low on, we're kind of short on mana, so we are not going to be able to pay for this arbiter for a while. So I'm just hoping that my opponent does not have a removal spell, and if they don't have which they don't, sweet. Okay, so we're probably going to win this game now. That's a Sage, so that's amazing. That's a really good draw. So now we AmuLIT. Oh, it actually costs 2, my bad. It's actually more important for me to pay for arbiter here. Attack. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna get Field of the Dead plus a bounce land. And I guess I'm getting a Simic Growth here. We already have a second Titan, so we're not that worried about that. And this allows me to get value, and my opponent just concedes. Alright, GG's. Yeah, so as you can see, like this kind of matchup, I actually feel like I'm pretty favored against it. People always tell me that they really struggle with it, but I think that is in great that is in a big part because of inexperience more than anything else. The more that you're experienced and you know exactly what your opponent can do and how you can play around it and how what they can do can mess you up. Whenever you know how all those interactions work, you can actually get ahead of them very consistently. Just challenge tag them if they forget to sleep. That's hilarious. Yeah, I did copy Pikes for you. That maybe you arrived later. I did actually a quick deck tech on like the list that we're playing today, and it is the list that PuntThenWhine used to win this weekend's challenge. There's some decisions that I don't really agree with, but yeah, I mean I'm trying it out because have a ton of respect for PuntThenWhine. So oh yeah, we're playing against Shadow. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I guess that in the blind, it's kind of like always correct for me to actually make my opponent game live now that I think about it. So maybe that was actually a mistake, even without knowing that. Oh yeah, obviously now I do know that they are in shadow. So also another great matchup for Explore. The Arbiter deck has to be Titan. Why even play Arbiter? That's kind of like my point, Doctor Jack. Yeah, Punt is off Hyman. Not only off Hyman, but we're also playing Scout today, Pikes. I know, right? Mind blowing stuff. Mind blowing stuff. All right, so we found our bounce land. We're gonna make my opponent gain life, and then I'm going to start here. So we can find another green source, or we can just like get a basic. I think basic it's better. Game one, I don't expect my opponent to have counter magic even if they're on Grixis Shadow. So I'm just gonna play out my second green source. Actually, yeah, actually that was a mistake. I should have played my Thalia West because if I draw a blue source, which is not very likely, we don't play that many blue sources, but that would have allowed me to trust me. And so yeah, so even though I showed my opponent the forest, I should have played Thalia West. I didn't think about it there. My bad. Grove isn't worth it. There's a shadow. I mean, you're going to see how my opponent. First of all, they were on a basic swamp draw, and second of all, you're gonna see how it's probably not gonna do that much. On this plane for us, Azus. Yeah, we're probably. I mean, we're just getting beaten down with this Goif. Azusa, Radiant Fountain. It's. I think it's like we're at 20 still, so it's worth it for me to play to get the blue source out there now, especially because if I draw engineered explosives, I guess it wouldn't really matter. Definitely don't want F6 because we want my opponent to gain life. Abrupt Decay, my AmuLIT. Grossly go if a big deal. So I'm just gonna make my opponent gain life on just F6. I can't resist that sweet, sweet F6 value. Good to know that my opponent's on Stubby D. So Traverse, we're probably gonna Traverse for another go if I were to guess. Yep. That's an amazing draw. Azusa, 1, 2, 3. So next turn we can start triggering field every turn. 3 times a turn, so my opponent kind of needs to kill this Azusa. Otherwise we're gonna take over. And of course if we rotate then the game is immediately over, right? So there's also that. Did I not make my opponent gain life right there? Maybe I did. Man, it's if I didn't make the game live, I should have definitely made the game live. And I'm not blocking this Azusa here. I'm not blocking with Azusa, I mean. Not blocking this Goif. Next turn, I'm probably going to start chump blocking with zombies, though. The Thief of Crowns is here. Okay, so this is going to turn into a Titan at some point. Zombo. Attack Oko. Make my opponent gain life, so it... Well, actually, I messed it up. I should have killed the Yoko, right? I could have double stricken. My bad. Just noticed that. Definitely should have killed the Yoko. It's fine. I need to slow down and just think about my lines before I do stuff. Yeah, I started doing things too quickly, Filioni. Yeah, so I just said I should have. I should have definitely done that for sure. On the other hand, now I get to trade to the Goif, so that's something. I'm gonna take 5 here. My opponent doesn't have a red source. Maybe they are playing red. Oops. I have 6th. Yeah, so I definitely need to slow things down a little bit here. God damn it. Ugh. I'm making mistake after mistake. Definitely getting Field of the Dead, and I guess a second field. A third field, I guess. Yeah, that sounds good. Zombie you. So this is gonna get turned into an elk. It kind of doesn't matter though. Well, I guess I might want to transmute next turn. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I can actually Titan. So I'm gonna bounce the bounce land. They might have like the flying dude. Or they might just have TBR. If they have TBR, can I beat TBR? It's possible that I can't beat TBR. I'm gonna just like throw all the zombies in front of this. So that is 6 zombies there and 3 zombies here. So this is 6, 10, 12, and this is also 12. Yeah. They can double strike, they can do whatever they want. Zombies are taking over anyway. Feeling rather confident about this game. Even after all my mistakes. Are probably not gonna matter. And if I were my opponent, I would just concede. Yeah, they did not need to show me that they're playing red. Like they cannot beat the zombie apocalypse. So yeah, showing me that they are playing red is definitely a mistake in my opinion. Like now I know to play around TBR in the next match, in the next game. Sorry. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of my opponent's line here. Also, they ordered their blocks poorly. They could have killed one more zombie. Not that it matters. Again, like my opponent's just dead here. It's another Titan. Um, I guess I can haste this one, right? No, I can't. Oh yeah, I can. Oh, Crumbling Vestige. No, I can't because I need to find the bounce land to bounce the other one. That's probably fine. So I don't need to attack my opponent yet, so I'm just gonna swing with everything at the Yoko, clear the Yoko. Opponent can gain life if they want. That's cool. I'm not attacking until it's lethal, right? And I can very easily set up a lethal turn. Very easily set up a lethal turn. My bad. 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So now that we have like a million zombos, now we can do this. Whee! Zombies. Whee! More zombies. No packs to pay for, so we just untap. I don't think. Actually, It's possible that the main deck field actually won that game. I mean, Diazusa was the one that won that game, honestly. So we definitely want these. We want Beast Within. We want Colossus. Colossus is not so good against the Yoko deck, but I think it's still worth bringing in. Anything else? No, I don't think so. Some people like Ballista in the matchup. Personally, I think that Ballista only works against bad Death Shadow players. And like sideboarding in order to hope that your opponent makes a mistake, it's not my cup of tea. It's not like the way that I prefer to approach like play my decks and sideboarding, you know? So I'd rather sideboard thinking that my opponent is going to play as optimally as they can. And it's really hard to get your opponent with Walking Ballista if they know what they're doing. Basically, we're going to shave some scouts. Not all of them, but a couple. Maybe one amulet. They are playing John though, so they're not very likely to have Call against Command. And if they're not playing Call against Command, then I like Amulet a lot more. So I think I'm just gonna, yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep them. Against Grixis, I think it's a little bit more defensible. I still like keeping my amulets against Grixis. It's nice that we have explorers, so we still have like some way of ramping, even as we're setting out our scouts. That's like one of the main appeals of Explorer, in my opinion, is the fact that in post-cyber the games, in matchups where you really want to set out your scouts, you still end up with at least 6 pieces of ramp, which is it's kind of a big deal, honestly. Also, just noticed that right now we have exactly 69 viewers. Nice. Um, Opponent keeps 7, and this is not really a keepable hand, I don't think. It sucks to mulligan against Death Shadow, but like that hand was just a little bit too bad. This one is much, much better. So we're gonna keep it. What to bottom here is actually extremely interesting. I think I'm gonna bottom the Radiant Fountain. I think that Cavern of Souls has the potential to be even more relevant, so I think I'm gonna bottom the Fountain. I might regret this because we could have actually accrued a non-zero amount of value from this Radiant Fountain, especially if we're going to be hitting our land drops naturally. But I think that against my opponent, that's base bug, and they are actually quite likely to be playing stuff like Disdainful Stroke. It's important for me to. It's important for me to have access to the Cavern of Souls. It's a nice piece of insurance, basically. Here, if my opponent thought ceases, that's fine. They can take my Once Upon a Time if they want, or one of my amulets. It doesn't really matter to me. There's the Thoughtseize, yeah. It gives my opponent less information. Like, I have enough lands, so I'm not looking for lands with this Once Upon a Time. So if they want to take the Once Upon a Time, that means that I still get access to 2 amulets. And if they take the amulet, um, maybe they have Surgical? They don't. Alright. So we're going to start here. Find the prime time, sure. Then we're going to play Cavern, we're going to name Giant. We're going to play out the amulets. It's also possible that my opponent knows what's up, and they know that. And they know like the power of redundant amulets. Let's see what's up here. Yeah, this is perfectly fine. And cited out one of my basic forests, so just getting it doesn't matter which one I get. It's exactly the same. That's pretty good. I like that. So I guess I'm gonna go with Rot Farm. So these are the 2 unknowns for my opponent, the Colossus and the Turf. No Thoughtseize, please. Traverse is fine. I wonder if they go for Shadow and then get blown out. That would be hilarious. Oh, we go for land. So maybe they already had the Shadow. No Thoughtseize, please. Please no Thoughtseize. Also, Goif here would actually be quite huge, so... Uh-oh. I mean, the good thing is unless my opponent has a Goif, we have lethal next turn, so... Uncounterable Giant for value. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So they're basically on Goif or bust, because I'm going to go for it next turn. I guess that's another card that helps them. Oh yeah, playing around force for value, you know? You never know when your opponent can force you out of the game. That Oko is really good. That's a really, really good Oko. Ugh. Alright, Explosives of the Top is kind of game. Wait, is this still a changeling? Is this an elk or is this a changeling? That's pretty funny. Alright, so we're taking 12 here. Put it down to 7. Explore. It's actually not bad. Explore into Azusa. Alright. We're still in this. Still in this. Alright, so opponent needs a way to lose life and a removal spell or TBR. And if we get to untap, then they need exactly TBR. Once upon a time is fine. I'm gonna be double chomping anyway. One, two, three, four, 5. Alright, so I'm now it's a forced chomp now. TBR just kills me, so we can't play around that. If they have it, they have it. Gonna make a food there, probably. But food doesn't really matter as much. 1, 2, so 6, 7, 8. Inquisition. So I just have lethal now? So my opponent's just dead? Yep, sweet. So we float all the manases. We cast our Titan, being very careful to leave white and red mana floating. We say yes. We find any bounce land and Slayer's Stronghold. We bounce Slayer's Stronghold. We play it. We haste our Primeval Titan. We attack for 8. I guess that they can fetch a basic, but they probably only have the one basic, so I'm not gonna attack the Oko. I'm gonna attack them. They might have a basic forest. It's kind of greedy for them to have the basic forest, but they might have it. And here I'm gonna get double Field of the Dead, I think. Yep. Get 4 zombies. Force my opponent to top deck exactly Timur Violet Rage. They have 0 cards in hand, so I'm not playing around anything. The only thing that it's like basic forest into crack food. That's the only thing that my opponent survives here. Go down to 1. And then they need to top deck exactly Timur Battle Rage or they lose. Yeah, there we go. Easy 2-0 against Shadow. No big deal. No big deal. How do you find the Oko? What do you think are the pros and cons? I might take it to FNM. I think that Oko is. Um, I think that Oko it's a fine card. So they have absolutely no. It has no synergies with our deck, right? Like, so it's not like it makes our deck better, right? So it's mostly a matter of like the card is just so absurd in and of itself that it can like it's a fine card. Like it does a bunch of things that the card should probably not be able to do, but that's what it is though. So my opinion is that it's a perfectly fine card that you can play in your AmuLIT deck and have a lot of success with, but I don't think it's like it's a requirement. Like you cannot play AmuLIT without 4 Azusa's, right? But you can definitely play AmuLIT without Oko, and I'm certainly not sold on Oko being better than no Oko. Bad beats. Well, if hopefully Melira and the Walking Ballista from the sideboard come into play here. Um, and also, I didn't talk about this hand, but I think it's a fine keep, right? We're talking about. We're talking about like turn 2 AmuLIT plus Scout into a potential turn 3 Titan if I draw it, or otherwise just we can transmute for it, so we already have a Titan in hand. If my opponent doesn't go for like the sorcery 6/4/1 scale up, I don't think I'm blocking this Glistener Elf yet. If they have like the nuts, so like +4, +4, +4, +4, plus mutagenic growth, then I'm okay with that. But I think that I'm gonna need to like I need to get a little bit more ahead here. Like I cannot just like throw this scout away. If they have Blighted Agent, we're probably going to lose though. Which one of these crime delicious take the place off? Kind of Jamestone Mine. Yeah, so they have the Blighted Agent, so we're probably gonna lose here. But there's nothing much that we can do about it, really. So I'm gonna be 1 mana short. Yeah, I'm gonna be 1 mana short of playing explosives for 2 and cracking. That's brutal. Bad beats. I guess that we can transmute for Pact of Negation, actually. What if I transmute for Pact of Negation? Do I have enough to pay for my Pact? So my upkeep, I am going to make 2 mana. So I guess I can't block the Glacier Elf if I go for this line. Which is fine, I think, right? So basically I play out the Scout, I transmute for Pact of Negation, and next turn I use one of the Scouts to flush Simico's Chamber in upkeep. I pay for Pact. On my turn, I play my land, that's 4 mana plus 2, and then I have enough to pay for the Pact, and I have enough to transmute and Titan and kill them. Yeah, so I basically have to not block here, and not die. And if I don't die, then I'm going to win. Yeah, so there's the scale up. Is this the one that I need to counter? That is the question. So this is going to swing for 6. If they have it. So they are not going to be able to pay Haven anymore. If I counter this and they have a +4 and a +2, okay, so I guess I pack this one because this is the one that grows them the most. I died to this member and I died to like 2+4/+4 pump spells. I can play around Spell Pierce, obviously. Yeah, so here we don't block the Glistener Elf. Again, like my plays are basically forced here. Like this is what I got. Okay, so that is 6 total. They can have mutagenic growth. Okay, so we're getting there. Sweet. So upkeep, response to the trigger, play semi-growth chamber. 1/2, 1/2. Bounce Simic. Pay for Pact. Well, that makes things easier. Primeval Titan. It feels so good when you like feel like you are so far behind, and then you actually go ahead and you do find the winning line. It feels so good, especially against such a terrible matchup like Infect is. Like I'm feeling like $1,000,000 right now. Tanya. Float, float, double strike, kill ya. I know that we didn't really need to draw the prime time. The fact that they draw the Titan, it just made me save time. But I still have a Scout activation. We would have net me 4 mana, which I could have used to transmute Thalia West and get the Titan anyway. Like we have like mana to spare here. Yeah, so Sieve without holes. I just explained why that's not the winning line. Like we already had lethal. We didn't need to draw the Titan. All right, so against Infect, we want this, we want this, we want these, we want dismembers, we want Claim, we don't Melira, and we want this thing. Pact of Negation is actually pretty bad this matchup, even though we literally just won that game. Yeah, I think that overall the card is just pretty bad. We don't care about Radiant Fountain. We don't care about Field of the Dead. I'd rather have access to the green source. Cavern's good. Maybe I just don't want Beast Within actually. It's just like killing Blighted Agent is so important. Killing Blighted Agent is so important, but like I guess we have like a bunch of other things that we're doing already. In this matchup, usually you don't want to flood on threats. I'm actually gonna take out the Nature's Claim. The main reason for me to want to bring in stuff like Nature's Claim and Rex Sage is Spellskite, which can be pretty annoying and it can help like their things survive. The thing is that Claim, it's actually solid because it kills Inkmoth Nexus, but it's really hard to kill Inkmoth Nexus because you can only kill it while your opponent has like they know that they can protect it or whatever. Yeah, so yeah, I did cut the Beast Within because it's so slow on the draw. Like 3 mana is just we can't really afford to hold 3 mana against Infect. But Nature's Claim it's actually kind of defensible. I think I'm gonna shave the Explorers. I might want Nature's Claim. Maybe over Steerings. Like cantrips against this deck are so awkward sometimes because you always need to be holding up mana and you can't really like use your turn to cantrip. Oof. Now this hand is something. Is there a specific reason why you're playing around Ballista again, or just because? I copied and pasted PuntThenWhine's list from this past weekend seminar, so I basically am using his list. I did a deck tag at the beginning of the video. You can check it out on YouTube later, and I talked about why I don't think that Ballista is in a good spot. Of course, we got paired against Infect, which is one of the few matchups that exist in Modern where the card where the card is actually reasonable. So like I guess it works, but yes. I'm actually seriously considering this hand because it has everything that we want. The problem is that if my opponent has a Nature's Claim or Force of Vigor, we just lose the game on the spot. So that is the downside. If I were to keep this hand, I would be basically forced to Steerings on 1 instead of playing the AmuLIT 2. So it's certainly on the greedy side of things, but it has literally everything that we want. I mean, it doesn't really have. Like, if this were a Dismember, I think I would snip this off. But the fact that it isn't is why I'm actually considering this a lot. Ultimately, I think that we're going to need to mulligan this. It's really greedy. All right, I'm going to keep it because I love chat too much. But I think it's very possible that this was a mulligan. Opponent wants a pawn. Hopefully they don't fight a Blighted Agent. Oh, Glistener Elf. We might be dead on turn 2, I guess. Bounce land off the top. Yep. So I'm basically, this is a forced play. I cannot afford to not Steerings here. All right, sweet. Found the bounce. There goes Melira and a Dismember. Bad beats. So we know we're not drawing those. Am I dead, opponent? Looks like I'm dead. I'm also dead to Spell Pierce here. Oh, yeah, they just had it. Alright, I mean, died on turn 2 to Infect, like what are we gonna do? Yeah, I think we just do the same thing. Being on the play doesn't really change things that much for us. And that is exactly what I said about like having cantrips in the deck, right? Like I used turn 1 to Steerings because I was forced to Steerings, and then I died on turn 2. Like if I had played Scout, I could have, chomp blocked or something. Yeesh. This one is actually a little better, so I'm gonna keep this one. We really we do need to find a green source here. This is 100% like this is just a straight up misplay. Like I have no idea why you would want to show me information before I show you information. That is like whatever. Also, now we know that my opponent's threat is going to be an Inkmoth, so we know that we don't need to expose the Ghost Quarter yet. Like, my opponent just... Why, opponent? So let's Steerings first, then we're going to play Gemstone, and... Whew! Woo! Alright, if this were a bounce land, I would take the bounce land over this, but because this is not a bounce land, we're going to be doing some of that shit, you know? Yeah, Thorngale, we lost on turn 2. So they play Inky. Interesting that my opponent just like... Alright. I think I'm gonna need my land drop, so I'm gonna have to show them the Ghost Quarter, which kind of sucks a little bit, but it's fine. Didn't know once upon a time. My opponent can pierce it, which would actually really, really suck, but I'm also kind of representing having another land. I do have another land, it's an ETB tap land, so that kind of sucks. They do get the pierce, which means that we do get to kill the Ink Moth. Might not be worth it though. I don't think that missing a land drop is worth it. Man, that would have been a beautiful blowout, though. If they swing for 1, I'm just gonna take it. No blocks. Mutagenic growth resolves. Play on my field. Can I please have a bounce land? Attacking is not really worth it. Why not blow it up on my end step? Because my opponent was holding up protection and I'm missing land drops. That's why. Like, if I'm hitting my land drops, I'm gonna win, right? That is like the only thing that's stopping me from winning right now as we speak. So now I have 2 layers of protection if my opponent chooses to go for something. They were supposed to go squatter. What if my opponent taps and they play the Blighted Agent? I lose on the spot, right? Not into that. This attacking for 1, I'm perfectly okay with. We have Ballista, yes, but we don't have lands. You guys are missing the point that I don't have lands. I cannot win without lands in play. You see? Now we have lands. Now we can do whatever the hell we want. Now the question is, do we play around something like Disdainful Stroke? I know that I had Ballista. Like, I'm very well aware. I can read my own cards. It's just the fact that if I don't have lands, Ballista is not very good. Again, if I have the Ghost Squatter, my opponent cannot kill me. If I had Ghost Squatter on end step, my opponent untaps and they go with mutagenic. They go with like Vines. Then they untap and they play like multiple. They play multiple pump spells in the face of my Ballista, and I lose the game because of the line that I chose to go with. We're winning now. I think that you guys are missing the point of like how we are losing here, right? Mean GQ during my turn. We're still in the same thing. Like, my opponent like saves this. I don't have lands. Then I tap. They untap and they play maybe another Inkmoth or something, and they can go all in. While I have Ghost Squatter here, my opponent cannot go all in. Right? They cannot kill me while I have Ghost Squatter here. They can't save it, but they can have another one. And I didn't know that I was drawing a bounce land until right now. Inkmoth can man itself up, yeah. They didn't have the mana to man itself up and protect it, but like, I'm missing land drops, and if I have 4 mana up, I can actually activate Walking Ballista. Even if I don't draw an AmuLIT, even if I don't draw a bounce land, if I draw any natural land, for every turn that my opponent is not killing me with the Inkmoth, I get to put a counter on the Ballista. And eventually that's going to be something that my opponent is not going to be able to play around anymore. Oh, I need to bounce a land. My bad. I guess I don't want to get got by like a Red Arrow or whatever. They fetched. Why the hell would they fetch? So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to go... So I could go for double strike, but my opponent can get me with Vines of Vastwood. or with dismember. Like if they dismember my Titan, they go down to 11, and then they only take 6. So they go down to 5. I guess if they had dismember, they would have used it on the Ballista. I can go for the super, super safe play, though. And I can get Vesuva plus a bounce land. If I get Vesuva plus a bounce land, I get to put a counter on the Ballista, and I get a second Ghost Quarter. So I think I'm going to go for that. So I have 2 Ghost Quarters plus a 4/4 Ballista active now. Sure. So now we just win, right? Because now I get to use 4 mana to put a counter here. Now we get to safely Ghost Quarter. My opponent's not going to have hasty threats, and even if they do, they need to get through an active 2/2 Ballista. So this is fine. Every counter on Ballista is worth a card from opponent. Exactly. So, like, by playing it slow like I did, I basically am making it so my opponent cannot. You see, they had a second Inkmoth. If I had gone for the lines, I hear this AmuLIT deck is pretty good. Yeah, Rix Maddie, thank you so much for the support. Welcome back, and thank you for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, you guys would have lost this game. If I had gone for the Ghost Quarter main phase, I would have lost to the second Inkmoth. So if I had gone with the lines that you guys were proposing, I would have lost this game. And that is a big deal. That is a big deal because that is like the way that this is like what experience in the matchup gives you, right? Like you need to know what matters at all points. You need to know when you can play around stuff and how you can play around that stuff, when you can take those infect points because they don't matter, and how you can lose the game at all points. Like if I had just gone all in with the line that you were suggesting, I would have lost this game that I'm now winning very easily. Nice day to you, sir. From many different decks you played over the past month, which would you suggest someone that is about to pick up the first AmuLIT deck? So what I suggest, Anchor, is try to go with the no nonsense lists. That makes things very, very easy. If things weren't easier already, this just makes them like extra easy mode. I would recommend like the no nonsense AmuLIT. I'm actually gonna take a quick break. I'm going to talk about this really quick. So I would recommend the list that I've been playing, I've been calling no nonsense AmuLIT list. Is the most straightforward. It's the best to get familiar with the basic play patterns and stuff. It's great for you to like get familiar with like the interactions and all that kind of stuff, and you don't need to like mess around with Karn and stuff like that. I think Karn adds another layer of complexity that's pretty interesting. Saraiva, no, we don't know that they just drew it, because my opponent, if they were savvy, they would have been playing around the Ghost Quarter that I have in play, and they would have been sandbagging the second Ghost Quarter to force me into making the play that you guys wanted to make. So I don't know that they just drew it or not, but if they were if they were sandbagging it, then you would have lost. And like there's no reason for me to play, there's no reason for me to lose to my opponent sandbagging a card, right? So that's the point that I'm trying to make, and why I don't understand why you guys are continuing to try to defend it. Like we won because of the approach that I took, which was to be aware of how I can die and play around all those ways that I can die, and then make sure that I don't die to those ways. So I guess we're gonna queue up for the next match then. How was Stanford gig? Oh, it was great. It was just long, lots of non-sleeping, because I had to wake up at 6 to go to the LAX airport, which is kind of a nightmare because I actually live pretty far from it. And then the flight got delayed by 2.5 hours, so that was very annoying to start things with. And then when I finally like we got there and I was expecting to take a nap, which I didn't get to because we had to go straight to like sound check. Then we played the show, we went back home, and then I had to wake up the next morning at 7 to take the flight back home. So it was pretty intense, but it was cool. Like the band was good, and I had a good time. And this hand is gonna be a mulligan. And welcome, Jesus. How you doing? I am halfway through getting the cards for your donation league. But I already have I already have my friend that's going to lend them to me. So yeah, that's gonna be cool. So this hand is great if we find a green source, and if we don't find a green source, we're gonna lose. But I think it's a fine keep here. And actually, I think I'm gonna bottom the Azusa because we like the green source enables both explore and steerings. That's not a green source. But yeah, I think I'm actually gonna make a. I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna make a like a matchup close about that Infect match. I think it was very interesting. Like there were a ton of like small decisions that are probably worth going over. So I'm probably gonna make a matchup close video for YouTube. Abzan? Is my opponent playing Abzan? What year is this? Oh yeah, Stoneforge Mystic. Getting the wrong equipment. I mean, it's probably not. I mean, it's probably not gonna matter. Like if we continue drawing like this, we're just like we would have lost to like a I don't know, like my opponent playing standard deck. Like it's just like our we needed to draw. Like I knew what I was signing up for when I kept this hand, and yep. I knew what I was signing up for when I kept this hand, and I'm just gonna run this out on 0 to blow up the battle skull just to gain time because I feel like the second that we draw a green source, we're probably going to just win. So I'm trying to delay my opponent killing me as much as possible. Yeah, then playing the battle skull here is fine. Like I would have been much more scared if my opponent had gone like end of turn, like flashing a friggin' sword or something, and I would have been super gut. Oh shit, this card is legal. I know, right? Classic Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, so I'm just taking like the 1 for 0 here. But again, all I need is time. Given enough time, I'm just going to overwhelm whatever my opponent is doing, unless there is a Sword of Feast and Famine involved. And probably a Tarmogoyf. Damn it! God damn it! Come on! How many green sources do we have? Even Vesuva counts as a green source here. Green source, green sources, green source. So 17 green sources. I guess it's not that much, huh? Because clearly we drew both caverns and cavern doesn't count, clearly, right? Another Stoneforge. Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice is definitely more beatable than the other one, but like again, you know. If they don't draw land, maybe I have one more turn here. Nice. Because I'm taking 5 this turn. Like it's literally strictly better for them to attack and play the sword. Like I don't understand why my opponent went with that. Like they can just hard cast the sword and like just attack for 1. Well, now I need exactly untap green source because my opponent is gonna have a 2-turn clock in play. If I do find untap green source, I might be able to steal something here. This spell doesn't do it because I have two titans. But it needs to be exactly an untapped green source because I have one green source only. And I can get it's a 5/6 Goifo. It means they have push in hand. Yeah, but push doesn't do anything. Like my opponent should know that push doesn't do anything on this board state. They can equip Batterskull now, for what's worth. Lingering Souls? Yeah, no, we just never drew a green source ever. Yeah, we would have won this game easily. My opponent, it's turn 8, and we have not seen a green source. Anyway. Alright, Abzan. We want these. We want both of these. I guess technically I don't know whether I want Ghost Quarter or not. They might have creature lands, but I also might not have creature lands. Colossus is also a big question mark. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Colossus is definitely a big question mark there. Kalni is great. Oh, Caverns come out. One Pact. One Amulet can be shaved. Nebs and Stoneblade, interesting. Yeah, I mean, if by interesting you mean pretty bad, then I would agree with you. It's just Chameleon Colossus, I guess it bridges the gap. That's like what it does. Okay, yeah, I guess it's better than like a Scout or something. But like, I guess the 4 Path to Exile deck, I'm not in love with Chameleon Colossus. I mean, maybe they're playing like a Reduke style version of deck where they just play like Fatal Pushes and whatnot. Beast within for Ashiok? Nah. The card disadvantage actually kind of matters in this matchup because you get like randomly beaten down by critters, so I don't think I want to give my opponent a 3/3. Yeah, Jesus, like this is the list that Punt used to win the challenge this weekend. You can check it out if you go with exclamation point deck. Gonna be on the play. It's actually not a bad hand against Abzan. I'm gonna keep it. Now we do have all the green sources. Classic. Turn 1 Inquisition, please. Bad beats. It's a pact. I'm gonna play Iron Fulminator mostly because I can. Oh, I should have attacked with the plant. Punt. Scavenginus. Sure. Like I actively want my opponent to eat this Chameleon Colossus, so that's why I'm not dismembering the Scavenginus main phase. Like I want my opponent to like waste their mana on their turn. So I'm not blocking this Goose. And again, I'm not playing my land, my Simigar Champion because I'm playing around Fulminator. I guess I'm also playing around Damping Sphere. Value. Fatal Push my plant token. I guess that's what's up, isn't it? I mean, if that's what's up. Steerings. Gemstone. Just gonna be hitting land drops, and eventually I'm gonna get there. I mean, my opponent's gonna need more discard spells and stuff. That is annoying. That's annoying. Let's see if we're gonna see a minus. Classic Ashiok minus. Classic Ashiok minus or not? What do we got, OP? You're gonna go with the most misplayed line from Ashiok players against AmuLIT. Yes! There we go. There we go. You gotta get that value in, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that you exile all the cards in my graveyard and you make your own Tarmogoyfs much worse, you know? You gotta make sure you get that. Should I play around? I guess I've been playing on a Fulminator all this time that I'm gonna play around Fulminator one more turn. Why is Ashiok minus a misplay? Because my opponent is making their Ashiok easier to kill. They are making their Tarmogoyfs smaller, right? Like their Tarmogoyfs is going to be their main threat in this matchup, and they are making it smaller for. And they like I already have a threat in hand. Like Ashiok does not stop me from like actually just playing my threats. So what they are doing is they are making their Ashiok easier to kill. Now if I draw an Asusa, like I only need to attack this 4 times instead of 5 in order to get my Titans unlocked. Same thing with like they are like hoping to exile what? Like what is the even better than telling you why it's a misplay, just tell me why it's a good play. That's a better way to put it. Like why is minus in the Ashiok a good play? Like what are they hoping to exile a card that I care about? Like what's the end game here? Possibly hit Sanhot. Well, yeah. First of all, they know that I have this in hand. Second of all, what do they gain by that? Like they hit this stronghold. Cool. Like what happens then? I kill them with a Titan anyway, right? So like that is my point. Yeah, exactly. Like they can hope that they hit all the Titans, but like it's that really like feasible? Um, I guess I'm gonna get Colony Garden. So they're probably gonna path this Titan. They need to have some kind of removal spell for it. Maybe Liliana, maybe something else. With not the haste land, you don't kill as fast. Yes, but you're still missing the point of how this matchup plays out. Right? This matchup is not about me cheesing my opponent out. This matchup is about going to turn like 10, and then my opponent just eventually dying to a 6/6 trampler. Or like a bunch of zombies. Right? That is how this matchup is going to end up. I'm not combo killing my opponent. And that is just like a very common misconception with AmuLIT, period. Like people think of AmuLIT as a combo deck. And AmuLIT is not a combo deck. You have a combo finish, but you're actually a ramp / mid-range deck. But people just like misunderstand what matters. And that is, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like it kind of looks like it's a combo deck. Like you always remember the games where you just lost and your opponent kind of like cheesed you out and they kill you on turn 3 or something. And you don't realize that like the true power of AmuLIT is actually in like the fact that we can grind. Like we are better at grinding than Tron. That's like where the true power of AmuLIT really comes, right? But yeah. So I guess we're gonna start chomping with this plant, and we're gonna start creating more plants. But yeah, I actually made who actually asked the question? Thorgiole. Yeah, I actually, if you go on YouTube and you type demystifying AmuLIT Titan. In fact, do I have a? I thought I have. There we go. So if you click that link, I made like a 3 hour video where I explain like how AmuLIT works and why I think that people like misunderstand the deck. It's probably like one of the most misunderstood decks in Modern. Yeah, so like my opponent did not minus Asio for like 3 turns, and now they do again. Like that makes no sense. Again, but now this time they mill themselves. Yes, trying to grow the Tarmogoyfs. Okay, so that one actually makes a little bit more sense. I agree with that one a little bit more. All right, so is my opponent last card in hand an answer to this Titan? It probably is actually. They're not likely to have much else. 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like they probably have like an Assassin's Trophy or a Path to Exile or something. Like if they don't have an answer, I probably get to win this game. Like if I manage to kill this Ashiok, then we're probably going to win. The deck is built around Titan. The more the way to find it, they exile. The more they grind and win. Yes, but at what cost? Right? Like now, like if Ashiok stays at 5, let's say they don't have an answer to the Titan. If Ashiok had stayed at 5, they could like I'm gonna give it double strike, so that's gonna be 6. Yeah, so they would not need to throw the Battle Skull under the bus, right? And because they did, now they're gonna have to. Like if they don't have an answer to the Titan, like this turn. Well, that's cute. Yeah, I guess that's an alternative. So we jump there. Opponent has Damping Spheres. Yeah. Did you pack for 10 to start coming Colossus because you were trying to play around Thoughtseize? I think it would still go for Colossus because things are already bad with this stash you can play. Yes, but like the upside is so much better. The upside is so much higher if I go for the Titan, right? Okay, so how does this work now? So I attack. How do I do this? Yeah, this is the first league of today, Walker. I might not have enough time to play 2 leagues, unfortunately, because I'm gonna need to go teach a lesson at 5:15, and currently it's 2:45, and this is match number 3. So we've been going a little bit long today. I know your work. I know the deck. I played Saints PT when Kondo's finalist. Yes, the holidays before Ebner. Also, you could just call me Thor. Okay, sounds good, Thor. Sweet. Yeah. So then then you understand why I think that it's actually a misplay to do what my opponent was doing there. So this is actually a very complex turn. So if I attack the Ashiok, my opponent's going to. Yeah, I feel like I need to just like play Garrus. I feel like I need to find an answer to this Battle Skull. Huh. Okay. Okay, that's interesting for sure. So now if I attack the Ashiok, my opponent throws the Goyf under the bus. Then they untap and equip the Stoneforge. So that's gonna resolve. Transmuting doesn't do anything. Then the Stoneforge will become a 5/6. Hmm. Okay, so I think I'm gonna bounce the Fountain. Play Azusa. Play Sunhome Fountain. Pass the turn. I guess I can be at a bad time. Yeah, we're trying to deal with Ashiok. We're still like one Ashiok, one explosives away from winning, and bomb it. Like we're one Field of the Dead away from winning. Now we have a bunch of things that we can use to win here. My opponent has not been able to deal with my prime time so far. Unfortunately, though, if they go after my Sunhome, I think I'm gonna need to throw the Titan away. How much is Starmo in Magic Online? It's actually like 5 tickets or something. Yeah, like 559 tickets. Oh, how big it is. It's a 910 right now. Yeah, so I guess that Bojuki Bog also kind of like ends this game, right? If I draw Bojuki Bog, I just bog my opponent and the Titan swings, has a clear attack at the Ashiok. So I have multiple outs here to just like get this game over with. Another Titan is a solid draw. I have there's 2 Titans down, so I only have 1 Titan left and 1 Chameleon Colossus. It's a big boy though. Yeah. If my opponent attacks here, it's really unfortunate, but I'm going to need to throw the Titan under the bus. Yep. Because of the Fulminator. So we traded the Goif, but they can't equip Batterskull this turn. Redundant AmuLIT doesn't do anything, so I think I'm just going to hold this in hand. I'm not dead to my opponent attacking, so I'm going to swing with Azusa at Ashiok here. They can block with the Fulminator. Alright, so now Ashiok's down to 1. Gonna get back Skull. Okay. I'm not even convinced that was a good line from my opponent, actually. Okay, so now they're gonna get Sophie, and they can equip the Fulminator, and they can. Oh, they don't have it. They cited it out. Wow. Wait, what? Not a fan of my opponent's plays here. All right, attack Ashiok. Yeah, that was not a good attack from opponent. Just like bouncing the Batter Skull just kind of made no sense. So now we're gonna once upon, we're gonna see what we find. Scout or another Asusa. Vesuva is also interesting. I think I Vesuva here. And I'm not gonna play it out. Because now I still have Field of the Dead to draw towards. Ancient Steerings, of course, is kind of the same thing. No, Sunhome is not doing the job here. Like, my opponent can do that, but like if they do that, that's like it's kind of fine, honestly. And again, if my opponent had not minus twice for no reason, then they would have not been able to throw a Stoneforge under the bus right there. The Ashia could have just taken it. And this is again like yet another one of the reasons why I don't like my opponents just doing that. It just makes sense. That doesn't make sense. It's very short-sighted, right? Like sometimes, yes, sometimes it's gonna make sense. Like if you have a second Ashiok or whatever. But like it just feels like a very short-sighted move that it fails to address like what is going on in the matchup. Ugh. We're not drawing well though. We're not drawing well at all. So at this point, I kind of have to draw exactly Field of the Dead. And I think that holding these lands in hand is like, I'm gonna need to chump here. No, because I can just block the Stoneforge. So I'm trying to see if I need to play the Vesuva, copy in Radiant Fountain, or copy the Bounce Land, maybe. If they have a removal cell for the Asusa, I just die. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna need to actually play a Bounce Land here. Because I need to bounce the Fountain. Because I don't want to, like, jump with the Asusa. Yeah, I have two explosives in the deck. Yeah, this Ashiok kinda took over this game. I struggled too much to be able to answer it. Maybe I should have brought in the Beast Within as well. I'm not sure. We're actually 3-0 now that I noticed there. We're not 2-0. Not attacking with the Fulminator makes no sense to me there. Yeah, this is why you don't want to, you don't want that many amulets in your deck in post-cyber the games. Like, this is a very real scenario that might happen. I'm just dead here, and yeah, I'm just dead. Yeah, I just died. Yeah, my opponent made very questionable plays, but it still didn't matter. Speaking of making questionable plays, my opponent just literally missed straight up lethal on board. Oh, come on. Yeah, too late for this one. Alright. It kind of sucks to lose like that, but yeah, it's fine. So we're 3-1. List is sweet though. I'm still not sold on the sideboard, but I like the main deck a lot. Like the main deck a lot. Like the explorers have been decent so far. But yeah, it sucks to lose, a game like that. But it happens sometimes. Wasn't it on board when you say jump, Battle Skull, take 3 from Stoneforge, another go to 2. Yeah, look, I'm not dead on board, but like I am, like it was such a it was a significantly better attack if my opponent just attacked like that, because I am forced to chump the Battle Skull. I cannot chump any of the other guys, right? So since I am forced to chump the Battle Skull anyway, like why not getting for 3 damage, right? This hand looks good. We have turn 1 AmuLIT, turn 2 Azusa. Hopefully this once upon a time finds a Titan. Opponent moves to 5. I hope it doesn't mean that my opponent's on Neobrand, because that would suck. Mountain into Soulscar Mage. Alright. That's a very solid draw. Well, we definitely don't want Sakura Tribe Scout, right? So I guess I'm gonna get Tolaria West instead. AmuLIT on 1. Then we're going to Rot Farm. Azusa on 2. So we're gonna light up the stage here. This is fine. No second land? Yeah, this game is over. Well. I was saying this game is over as a hyperbole, and now I'm saying this game is over as a fact. Like I don't have actual lethal here, but I have like virtual lethal. Like it doesn't even matter. I'm just gonna make land drops, I guess. So I'm gonna get Gemstone Mine and Stronghold, and then I'm just gonna get like 2 lands, whatever. We can't actually kill them because like we drew the lands that we need to be in our deck in order to actually kill them on turn 2. But it's fine. Whatever. My opponent says LOL. No packs to pay for. Just F6 here. Maybe my opponent can beat this. All right. This is good. This is good. I really, really, really miss Bailout here. Really miss Bailout here. Bailout is actually quite good in this matchup. Because we're going with this. We could bring in Dismember. It's probably better instead of Tribe Scouts. Just Scout is so bad in the matchup. I kind of really want to take out. Yeah, Abyss Within is kind of like, eh. Did I talk about this list yet? No, I saw that he posted something on Twitter, but I actually didn't look at it. Why no Beast? Because you want Garden. What would you take out instead? I feel like I want to shape a land. Probably feel that it's worse than Garden. The second Field of the Dead, right? Like the first Field of the Dead is fine. The second one is a little bit bad. It's worse a peak pro league. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about that like post stream actually. That sounds fine. Yes, explore. With a bunch of lands that have good abilities, sign me up. We even have a Blood Moon protection. Whew. Whew. Gasoline. If my opponent attacks, I'm chomping here, I think. I don't want them to light up the stage. It is actually kind of annoying. Not a bad draw, if I may say so. So, Simic Ghost Chamber, Bounce Skalny, Explore. Nice. Alright, everything's coming out Millhouse now. We even have Nature's Claim for their Blood Moon. Feels good, man. Crash Through is such an annoying card. It's funny how such a bad card can be so good in that stupid deck. Gonna go with no blocks here. My opponent might light up the stage now. They don't. Okay. Once upon a time. So what is the best way to sequence my lands? I want to try to hold up Nature's Claim. So I think I'm gonna Sanctuary, get Kalni back, then play Gemstone, then play Kalni again. If I go like that, then I'm gonna have a 0-1 to block. I'm gonna get full value from Asusa, and I'm also holding up Nature's Claim, and that also allows me to transmute. Yeah. No, I don't want to Once Upon a Time. I need to guarantee a Titan next turn. I don't think I can afford to Once Upon a Time, because if I whiff, I kind of just lose the game, right? And we haven't cantripped yet. So I think this is the correct line. It allows me to play around everything, except my opponent having like a go off turn, right? Like with Crash Through. If they have a go off turn with Crash Through, then I'm going to lose. But I think that guaranteeing Titan mana next turn, guaranteeing a Titan, sorry, next turn, I'm playing around all the landers. Look at that. Look at that. See? My opponent like wasted a burst lightning on my Asusa that already got all my value. Yeah, looking pretty good here, I want to say. Again, like, the way that I lose this game is like Manamorphose into Crash Through or something like that. I guess that this Stimkin can generate a ton of mana, so maybe I lose to that. They just go off with a bunch of Revelers. Shattering Spree, my AmuLIT. And that is without taking the counter off the Runaway Steamkin. Yes, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about claiming my own AmuLIT. We die to Blood Moon if I go for this line. But maybe it's okay to assume death to Blood Moon if it guarantees that I don't die to my opponent's board. I think it might just be worth it. So now we're up to 17. Yeah, I think that we can. I'm okay just guaranteeing that I don't die to my opponent's board and that I. Yeah, so we chump there and then we take 4. And now we're gonna gain 2 poggers. Or I can just be a true professional and just drop top deck and AmuLIT like nobody's business right there, you know? Clearly that was the correct line, so now we don't even die to Blood Moon. Well, I guess we still would die to Blood Moon. Anda al casino, amigo, dice mi amigo. Turno 4 te parece mucho. Alright, so what can we do here? We can field. Or we can Blood Moon. The problem with not. The problem with playing around Blood Moon is that it might actually be problematic. The Willhall Exp. Thank you for that raid. Appreciate it. Welcome everybody from Willhall Exp's stream. We're finishing up this match right here. I'm trying to figure out whether I should play around Blood Moon or not, because we might kind of get got by this. Not worth playing around Blood Moon this turn. It feels like it's literally the only way that I lose, though. At least I'm gonna say the most likely way that I lose. If they had Moon, wouldn't they do it post combat to lock you out last turn? They could have, yes, but they can always stop deck it, and they have cantrips. So I'm trying to see if I can afford to play around it. That's basically the question. Like at this point, I'm thinking, what are the ways that I lose this game? And my first question, the first answer is Blood Moon. Okay, cool. Now, can I play around Blood Moon? If I play around Blood Moon, what happens? If I play around Blood Moon, do I die to my opponent's board? That's the question I'm trying to answer right now. So I'm playing around my opponent, not my opponent's hand, and my opponent's top of the deck. If I were to not play around Blood Moon, what I would do is I would get Field of the Dead and Tolaria West. If I were to be playing around Blood Moon, then I would get Forest and Snow Covered Forest. You think so? You think that we can win? I kind of disagree. I think that we can win if my opponent has Blood Moon. But yeah, I guess that's a fair way to put it. So we just play around Moon. We just don't play around Blood Moon. We just swing here. Because if they have Moon, they still need to beat my 6/6, right? The problem is like Soulscroll Mage makes it so it's easier for them to play around that. And note that yeah, because of Runaway Stimkin, they still have like they can still draw into the Blood Moon right here. So yeah, like if they top like into if they draw into a Moon, then we just die. Okay, they didn't. Cool. All right, 4-1. 4-1. Yeah, I mean 80%. Can't complain about 80%. So you have passed the test, Punt. Your list it covers the 80% win rate that is required for an AmuLIT list. So clearly, it's a legit AmuLIT list. We have figured that out today. Yeah, I do like your sideboard choices for the event that you were expecting. I wouldn't go with this sideboard in like in a GP or something, right? If I know in an open event, I think that it was very cool for like the Magical Light event, and of course you got handily rewarded for your proper choices. But yeah, this is it's cool. It's cool. I actually did like the explorers quite a bit. We just saw that last game, right? Like that explore allowed me to, make sure that I don't play into my opponent's game plan. Like my opponent is playing like a lightning bolt slash lava dart deck. So I'm not playing into my opponent's game plan, but I still was able to like explore and use Asusa to cantrip and stuff. Um, yeah, I was hardcore targeting the MTGO, and it makes total sense. Like it made so much sense. So that's what we went over all that stuff in the deck tech that I did in the beginning of the video. And yeah, it makes sense that you got rewarded because your choices made a lot of sense, and it's cool. It's really nice when that happens, because yeah, it just rewards good deck building. That's definitely a thing that should be rewarded. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. But before I leave, though, I guess if you're watching on YouTube, this is gonna be a good time for us to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and to like the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.